everybody. Welcome to the Cook and Carneiro Show, featuring Christopher Cook, your main host, and my psychiatrist for the day, Valtteri Carneiro. How are you today?
Welcome, Chris. How are you doing?
If I said I was fine, I'd probably be lying to you.
I figured as much.
Today, we are going to be talking about the elephant in the Formula One room, the Chinese Grand Prix. We're not going to be talking about Fernando Alonso going into McLaren, because everyone's already said what's needed to be said, and you can hear my opinions on it, and pretty much everyone else is on the Motorsport 101 live stream we did yesterday, as of this recording. So, shit.
Yeah, including mine. I'm also on that live stream. I showed up like 10 minutes late, but I'm still there.
Yeah, like, we're there in spirit. Mm-hmm. I left after about 40 minutes because I had work to do, but I'm there. You can hear my voice, and I do say things. Sometimes things, irrelevant things, but, things still.
Yeah, sometimes you say actually very smart things and very relevant things. That's pretty cool.
Don't patronize him, man. Let's talk about the Chinese Grand Prix. What happened in the Chinese Grand Prix, and why am I so upset about it? Well, Lewis Hamilton won. That's kind of a downer for anyone anyway. Ferrari didn't do as well as previously hoped, despite Sebastian Vettel getting second. And the Mercedes teammate, Valtteri Bottas, who I happen to be his biggest fan, had a very, very flawed race during a safety car period when Lance Stroll got taken the fuck out by Sergio Perez and gained one enemy in the process in Charlie Regenbowl. You ask him about it.
I would argue he probably gained the ire of like 80% of the Formula One community at this point.
Yeah. So, during the safety car periods, Valtteri did something that, in most cases, would be considered a rookie mistake. Not even a rookie mistake, like a mistake that a non-driver would do. He spun in a straight line. He got 2 into trying to warm up the tyres, and he spun it. He fucking spun it. And then he went down from wherever he was
I believe he was 4th down to 12th.
4th down to 12th.
I believe that was 4th at least.
I don't know how I can continue on with this, because this is where I've spent the good part of my fandom life rooting for this guy.
Yes.
First it was Lewis Hamilton in his early years, because I was a stupid British kid. Then it was...
We all have that phase, we all grow out of it.
Yeah. Some people don't, some people do. It depends. Then it was Jenson Button for a little bit. And then... Valtteri Bottas came into my mind. And then he became my biggest love. And he's not even... He still hasn't won a Grand Prix. And that makes me very sad. And he's in probably the best car on the grid. He's in a Mercedes AMG Petronas. 3-time Constructors Champions, 3 times Drivers Champions. And he's fucking up. He's fucking up. Like, he is now the butt of the jokes that Nico Rosberg once was. And he didn't even deserve the jokes either.
We've all been trying to tell you for all this time, Chris, since 2013 when he was still driving with the shitbox at Williams, and then 2014 when Williams got a slightly better shitbox, and then 2015 when they went down a little bit, but they were still in the middle there, and then last year, which was almost a complete disaster, and even today when he's on literally the best car on the grid, Bottas is shit. You have to face the facts.
No, I'm not facing the facts because they aren't facts! They're alternative! Valtteri Bottas is the greatest Formula 1 driver to ever live on this planet. Forget Fernando Alonso. He's too good for Formula 1 now. Like now that Alonso's gone and now that Lewis, nobody gives a shit about Lewis anymore, we should all give a shit about Valtteri. And no one does! No one does!
You see, people do give a shit about Valtteri, but they only notice the important parts, which is when he is shit. Because let me finish. Let me finish.
No. Okay.
When was the last time Bottas ever had a true masterclass drive? When was the last time you could say that this driver...
Canada 2016!
That was fucking centuries ago. Who cares about that anymore?
No, it was not a century ago. Do you know how long a century ago is, Matt? 100 years!
6 months ago.
Formula 1 is not 100 years old, Matt.
No, but it's getting close.
It's like 60. You got 40 years to go.
It's close enough. It's 64%.
Oh my God.
67% of the way through.
That's just over halfway.
Still.
No. I will argue that his masterclass was in Australia 2017, where he nearly caught up to the OG black dude, Lewis. Shut up! What do you know?
What do I know? Val won that fucking race, man. I'm a Ferrari fan. I can lay more claim to a masterclass drive than you.
Mr. Brasileiro. Oh, I'm a Felipe Massa fan. I was so sad when he retired. God damn it. Don't give me those excuses when you know they're wrong.
You're putting words in my mouth. You're taking the strawman argument here. I never said anything about Massa right now. God, fuck Massa. He should have stayed retired. What do I care about him?
You cared about him at one point.
Yes, when I was a kid, I was sitting in the living room. Brazil 2008. I saw him being champion for 30 seconds. My life was crushed on that day, Chris. I have no soul left in my body. My heart has turned black. I need a pacemaker to pump my blood now, you know?
I understand. If your heart is crushed about Massa, why isn't your heart crushed about me loving Bottas?
Because Bottas is shit! You're doing this to yourself!
Massa!
You are torturing yourself, Chris!
So is Massa!
You need to wake up!
You can't do that! You can't just go, oh, Bottas is shit, when you know Massa is as well!
Massa actually nearly won a fucking championship. What has Bottas done so far? What does he have to lay claim about?
Top seat Mercedes.
Massa got to see the Ferrari. They were the best team from like the fucking early 2000s up until maybe 2005. And then they got back up again, and now they're sort of wibbly wobbly in the middle. But still,
sort of wibbly wobbly.
Still, he was the lead fucking driver in 2008. What has your guy done?
Oh, shush. Massa was never a lead driver of anything. He got showed up by motherfucking Raikkonen. No one gets showed up by Raikkonen.
Have you watched the 2008 season?
I did. I remember. I watched it live. For the first part, Raikkonen was doing all the work, and then suddenly Raikkonen just gave up. He was like, blah, 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 because that's what he sounds
big
like.
Fucking deal. That's the story of Raikkonen's life.
Well, Massa just takes the place, and he can't even win a world championship in arguably the best car on the grid in 2008, when he wins in front of, you know, a couple of 100,000 Brazilian fans, and he still gets showed up by this 23-year-old dude from Stevenage or whatever.
Stevenage, yeah. Stevenage.
Yeah, so from Stevenage. No one gets showed up by a 23-year-old dude from Stevenage, except for Felipe Massa.
Fernando Alonso, too. So, yeah, not even Fernando Alonso can do the little kid from Stevenage, huh?
Nobody cares about Fernando Alonso anymore. He's irrelevant. He's gone to IndyCar.
True, yeah. That's fair.
Okay. I needed that out of my system. Mm-hmm. That's our opinions on the Chinese Grand Prix. Mm-hmm. That's about it. Should we talk about Long Beach?
Sure. Let's
Long Beach.
Into that.
Long Beach was pretty good because we have this indie fantasy league with a bunch of race car Twitter and all that. And basically the whole point is you pick 4 drivers and like how many points they get in the race Sorry, I hiccuped.
No
Whatever position they end up being, the points get added up, and whoever gets the highest points wins, the league for that race.
Mm-hmm.
I chose James Hinchcliffe, Sebastian Bourdais, Simon Pagenaud, and Ed Jones. They came first, second, fifth, and sixth. I didn't think Ed Jones was going to come sixth, but it worked. My boy Ed Jones did the do. He did the do and he did the deal, and he's a fucking legend. He's now my favourite IndyCar driver. He is like the Valtteri Bottas in my heart in IndyCar. So if I hear people saying Ed Jones is shit in the near future, I am going to be fucking livid. None of you know the prosperity and the skill that this young United Arab Emirates British dude has.
Nah.
He is my bae.
I have to say, if anything, the most impressive pick that you got on that day was Ed Jones, because, rookie on a Dale Coyne racing car. Although you could argue that Dale Coyne is doing much better right now from thinking of these first two races, so it would be expected for him to also do pretty well. He got 2 top 10 finishes on his very first 2 races, so this kid has some future.
He has a future. He's if I recall correctly, he's the 2016 Indy Lights champion as well.
That's how he got the seat.
Yeah, that exactly. He's a legend. He's a legend in the making, and you guys know that. It's like the future of motorsport. Ed Jones and Valtteri Bottas. You've heard it here, folks. 2017. I am always correct with my predictions, because I predicted the winner of the 2016 Indy 500, as you all very much know and keep reminding me of. It's all good. It all means that everything is going to just fall into place. Forget Max Verstappen. Nobody gives a shit about him. It's Valtteri Bottas and Ed Jones. UAE and Finland in the works, ladies and gentlemen. No, believe what you want to believe, but the truth is always there.
But I mean, if you predicted Rossi winning by reverse psychology, you could say that you did it. But so anyway, from my side of the story here, my picks were James Hinchcliffe, Elio Castroneves, Ryan Hunter-Reay, and J.R. Hildebrand. So if you watch the race, you'll understand why I don't feel as strongly as Chris about this race. I mean, Hinchcliffe winning, it's awesome. Hinchtown is dominating again. Well, not dominating, but he's on top again. He's on form. Yeah, I'm really happy for him. Although I was kind of pulling for Hunter-Reay to win because he was one of my picks as well. And you all know how disastrous my picks have been, because Hunter-Reay just pulled a Honda and just went out on the fucking first turn near the end of the race. J.R. Hildebrand just shunted a lotion and broke his hand at the same time. But that's
peak J.R. Hildebrand.
But the worst of all is that I believe I switched out. I believe I switched Dixon for Castroneves right before the race.
Yeah.
Because Castroneves got the pole, and I was really chuffed about it. Yeah. Because, as you all know, I am a big Helio fan ever since I was a little kid, for obvious reasons. And on the very start of the race, do you know what this motherfucker did? He dropped from first place to 6th before the fucking start line. This is the story of my fucking fandom life.
Listen, we've been telling you ever since he won his first Indy 500, ever since he won his second Indy 500, ever since he won his third Indy 500. Oh, God. But you need to know these words. Castroneves is shit.
Well, didn't that come back around to me? But
yes, it fucking did. That's what you get.
Hey. At least I'm not a Connor Daly fan. At least I didn't pick Connor Daly. Because that guy is on another whole level. I'm not going to mention any other names here. Connor Daly is shit.
Oh my God, the fucking Shade Farm.
I'm not even throwing shade. I'm getting the flamethrower and just fucking burning him right now.
This is a fucking broken podcast. We've already talked about the Chinese Grand Prix. I've had my therapy session. We just might as well have called this episode the Cook and Carneiro Show.
I mean, it hasn't even been 20 minutes, and I think we've
been 20 minutes.
we cursed the most we've ever have in the whole history of the series so far, I think.
Yeah. Fuck shit, cunt, shit, bollocks. Yeah, I agree. Let's calm it down. Let's calm it down. Because I asked the Twitters for some questions because we're now going to do our own super awesome Q&A. And we have our first question, funnily enough, comes from Elizabeth Worth.
Oh, wow.
First question is, why is Elizabeth Worth the top #1 greatest human being of all time? And you said you were actually going to answer this, so please do.
Well,
I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, thank you very much. Simply put, she is an amazing human being. She is incredibly pretty. She is incredibly beautiful and all that good stuff. She is sweet. She is a very strong person. Well, to me at least, she knows how to handle her problems very well because I could just... If any of the stuff that happens to her happened to me, I would be completely lost and would just not know what to do. And basically... Yeah, that's it. I think I've said it to her so many times. I don't think it even bears repeating that much.
Yeah, I agree with most of it. I agree with all of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not as good as me, not as good as moi. The other question she asked was, what is a skill that you don't have but wish you did? Would you like to answer this one?
Well, this is very obvious and maybe cliche, but I just wish I could play an instrument, like any musical instrument, a guitar, or just the keyboards, maybe even drums, because I have a lot of interest in that stuff. I even said on Twitter once that when I was around 7 or 8, I used to have keyboard classes at school. They were extracurricular, and I was getting sort of decent at it, but then one day they shuffled the schedules around. And then the classes, it started clashing with volleyball classes. And stupid little me, as I picked volleyball instead of keyboards. So I wasted my big chance at being the next Rick Wakeman or the next Jeff Downs or just having my own little shitty synth-pop band.
Or the next Keith Emerson.
Yes, true. That one too.
The next Tony K.
God rest his soul.
For me, God rest his soul, God rest his soul. For me... I think I would personally. I've always wanted to be an animator. I like the dreams I have are like animated music videos. Like I'll play a song. I was listening to Beastly by Wolfpack, and in my head there was it was the music video for Beastly, but they were all anime characters, and so this anime girl was doing a sick Joe Dart bass solo in my dream.
That sounds awesome.
This is amazing. And I was like, I'd love to put that into onto paper, but I know I can't, and I don't have the money to get someone else to do it. And it's basically like a complete fantasy world for me. It's just a dream, basically. No,
that's very fair. I've kind of been wanting to dabble in animation a little bit, so I totally feel that. Not even 3D, but actually hand drawn, like you said, the anime thing. It would be a very interesting skill to have.
Yeah, there's I want in my head, I dream about being the most efficient and most detailed. Oh, sorry, hiccups. Animator of all time. And that's a goal that's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can I don't think you can be the perfect mix of efficient and detailed at the same time. Detail has to come in from time and manual labor.
Yes.
And so, it'll always be a dream to me. RJ O'Connell asks, what is something you hate about a city you love? And it's hard to say because there isn't any cities I supposedly love. The only answer I would give is Chicago and Michigan. I would say I love them. I would say
why.
Illinois and Michigan.
Wonder why.
Only because the only thing I hate about it is I've never been there. I've never seen what it looks like.
Oh, that's very fair.
And I'd say something about London, but like I don't like London. I just don't like London in general. There's not like a certain thing I don't like about it. I just don't like it at all. What about you, Matt?
Me. Well, I'm gonna start with the one closest to my heart. I don't really love it, but I mean I find it very tolerable to live in. My hometown, Curitiba. It's there's this running joke about the weather being insufferable, but to be fair, it actually really is, because I remember very clearly one day I went to the groceries to get some food and for lunch and stuff.
Yeah.
It was dark and gray, like almost on the brink of rain. I must have stayed there for about 15 minutes. When I came out, the sun was out and the skies were blue. So this city is very bipolar in a way. It never settles on one single weather. It's also another running joke that Curitiba is the only place in the world where you can experience all 4 seasons of the year in one single day. So whenever you come here, even if it's in the summer, you should still bring a coat or a sweatshirt, because you just never know. Like about 2 years ago on Christmas, this is summer down here on the southern hemisphere. It was cold as hell. Like,
oh my God.
we were freezing. It was I believe it was around, well, I say freezing, but it was like 19 degrees Celsius. That was it's actually very tolerable, but it was off the season. It was the very start of summer. Oh.
I've never heard anyone can describe 20/19 degrees Celsius freezing, because it was 20, I think it was around 17 degrees today.
Yeah.
And it was pretty hot. It was
wow.
It shows how different our climates are, because cold for me is anything below 5 degrees Celsius, and some days we could go in the negative numbers, and I'd love to see how you'd react to that.
I mean, currently, right now, I'm looking at the weather right now. It's 18 Celsius, and just under an hour ago, I was a little bit cold and a little bit shivering, but because actually my place also is a little. It tends to exaggerate the weather outside. So if it's cold outside, it gets too cold inside. If it's hot, it gets too hot inside. But
yeah.
I mean, I just got warm now because I'm all talking and gesturing and stuff, but you can't see that. But yeah, I would also feel like it would be interesting to find out what negative temperatures actually feel like, because all I see is just a bunch of people wearing a bunch of clothes, and I already do this at home. What would be so much different? I mean, what's the difference between 5 degrees Celsius and minus 5 degrees Celsius, really? But also, sorry, I'm just gonna continue a little bit, because another city that I love is San Francisco, and for the short while I was there, for about the first week or so, I didn't actually like how windy it was, because that was the middle of summer. I was staying there in July, and it was so windy that I actually had to wear a coat every time I went out there. So it was actually, and it was also pretty chilly. Because San Francisco is is a very it's a kind of a, I'm not sure if it is right to say, but a port town. It's right on the coast, right? It has piers and stuff. So the wind tends to blow quite hard and quite often there. So which means that even in the summer, it's very chilly still. But after a while, I got used to it and I actually started liking it. So yeah, I guess that. So far, to me, San Francisco is the only flawless city that I ever found.
So that's I've never been to I've never been to America, so I don't know. So fuck. Do you want to plan a meetup in fucking San Francisco? That'd be great.
Yeah, I would love to go back there. So.
Oh yeah. I reckon I'd pretty much enjoy it. My boy Charlie Regenball, in all his glory, asked. Musicians you never thought you'd like. And I have the perfect one. Limp Bizkit. I like Limp Bizkit.
Oh, do you? Unironically.
Yeah. Unironically.
Wow.
I have unironically had a phase where I listened to nothing but Limp Bizkit.
That is going to turn some heads.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely going to turn some heads. The album was Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water, which is the fucking cheesiest and over-the-top album you can ever muster. And I love it. I love it because it's so fucking cheesy and so ridiculous and so, oh, look how hard we are. I'm going to knock you the fuck out. Oh, I like to say, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Should I do the longest yeah ever? Oh, dear.
Wow, so...
Yeah, Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit. That's a very, very good choice. This is gonna... Well, I think this is gonna spoil the taste test part a little bit, but people already know what album I picked anyway, so I'm just gonna say that I actually started enjoying Carly Rae Jepsen after I listened to the album Emotion. It was kind of unexpected because she's very on the mainstream side of music, and I never really fancied myself a fan of mainstream music, but... Yeah, after I listened to that album, I actually really started enjoying her a little more. Even Call Me Maybe, people that song is still insufferable, but like to me, I started appreciating it just a little bit from just straight up hitting it. And for a while last year, for like I would say maybe a month, just under a month, I actually quite liked 21 Pilots. Because I listened to Blurry Face and I actually really enjoyed it, and even Stressed Out, it's a song that I enjoyed at the time. I low key enjoy it nowadays, but it's gotten on my nerves. Like actually the band, the whole band just got on my nerves now, so I don't like them anymore. But
sorry. Yeah,
for that little period of 2016, I actually unironically enjoyed 21 Pilots.
Oh, God, that phrase is never going to get in my head. I unironically enjoyed 21 Pilots.
Hey, it's better than 1971. It's better than 1975.
That's not saying much, though. That really isn't. That's like on the same level of, I think if I...
No more.
Well, there's a bunch of silly ones. One guy asked, why will communism prevail? And I can get you to ask that.
I have a perfect answer for that. Because capitalism is an inherently weak system, and once they figure it out, capitalism will crush itself under its own weight, and we will finally seize the means of production, and communism will rise and take over the world, and the United States of America will finally learn how to put the tax on the fucking price tag. How hard is it to do that? I went to Walgreens once and I picked a bunch of stuff and it was $20, only to go to the fucking register and find out that it was actually $25. Like, how hard is it to put everything together at one point? That really grinds my gears.
Rant. Yeah, I guess. Listen. If there's one thing I'm going to do in post-production is I'm going to have like the Russian national anthem in the background while you're having that rant. Because like everyone will now think you're a communist. everyone will accuse you of being a communist now.
No, like just for the record, I'm a leftist, but I'm not a communist.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah, that's a reasonable thought. Not the communism bit, the leftist bit. The last question, I think, is worst experience on an airplane, and if you haven't been on an airplane, what is your favourite aircraft? I haven't had any bad experiences on airplanes, but I once was questioned whether I'd had any trouble with the police because I was going to Amsterdam to see my mother, and I took a guitar with me and I had long hair. And anyone with long hair taking a guitar and going to Amsterdam is going to raise some questions.
Yeah.
So they asked me if I'd gotten in any trouble with the police, and I was, excuse me? I said no. It was really weird because it was like literally right before I was boarding the plane. Like I'd gone past customs really easily. They didn't have any troubles with me. Everything was fine. Until that one guy saw my long hair and was just like, that man! And that's about, like, apart from that, I've had no particularly bad aircraft moments.
Yeah.
Unless you've had any.
I haven't really had any bad moments per se, but a few moments that actually pop up to my mind are the very first flight I took. I was incredibly nervous. I was going with my dad to this theme park in São Paulo, but we actually took a flight all the way to a nearby city there, and that was my very first flight. I was 13, 12 going on 13.
First flights are like really terrible.
They are like I was just shaking. My hands were shaking. My heartbeat was probably the fastest it's ever been in my life, and for a beginner, I guess you could say it's normal, but like looking back at it, it's not exactly the best thing. But I mean, the only thing that comes close to that is when I went to the US, I had to take a lot of connecting flights, and I got really, really tired after a while. I just started hating planes. So that's the closest thing I ever got to a bad flight experience. But on an actual plane, nothing bad has ever happened to me.
I still get anxiety from aircrafts like going up, because like when it goes on the runway, like it starts to rumble a lot, and it's suddenly a lot louder than the rest of the flight, and so like it does raise your anxiety on a huge level.
Yes.
So I'm a 19-year-old grown man, and I still get nervous on flights. I think in time, I think I'll be fine with it, but like, still, I don't go on flights very often. Like, the flight I went on was the first time I'd gone on a plane in 7 or 8 years. So it was still fucking scary. It's like, it's like me with relationships. Like the relationships I've had at the moment, like, I'll be with someone and then I'll break up and then I'll not be with anyone for like 3 years, and then I'll get back and then I'll start a relationship, and it'll feel like the first, and I'll have no idea what the fuck to do, and I'll have to relearn everything. And then when I break up and wait for God knows how long, it's all going to be like an endless cycle. I definitely understand what you mean when you said your hands are shaking, because I was like that on my first flight.
Yeah.
I was absolutely terrified, because any sort of fast-moving vehicle, if I'm inside it, I get really, really terrible anxiety. It's like, we're gonna crash, we're gonna die, we're gonna die. It's like, but we know, like, funnily enough, I say that as a racing fan.
True. The irony.
It's quite ironic. That's about. Oh, there's one other question. Gwoen21 on Twitter asks, best car in history. Quick fire question. Go.
Porsche 917.
Ooh, give me another one. Go.
Porsche 956.
Not a Porsche. Go.
Okay then. Jaguar XJR8.
Do they all have to be Le Mans prototypes? Go.
I'm trying to think of something else. Porsche 911. Damn, it's a Porsche.
It's okay. I'll give you some. Saab Mercedes C9.
It's the Le Mans prototype.
Ferrari
cool.
F2002.
No,
it's fine. I haven't chosen it. The Bugatti Chiron. The SSC supercar thing that got like 260 miles an hour.
I don't think I know that one.
Yeah, it's a shit one. It's like
Porsche
917/30.
That's a good one. I got one for you. Aston Martin DB5.
Ooh, good one. Bentley Speed 8.
Nice one. Come on.
Porsche 919 Hybrid.
That's a good shot. Very good. Come on, think about one. Brabham BT46B with the fan car.
Ooh, yes, boy. Lotus 49.
Good one. Fuck. Let's go full hipster. Ford Model T.
Ooh, good one. Ford GT40.
Nice one. Awesome.
I can't think of any more.
Yeah, I think we're good enough. We're not that much. We're not that big of a gearhead anyway.
Yeah. We're more a racing type as opposed to knowing what the cars are. This is perfect, because the next thing on our agenda, if we check is your boy and your girls, boys and girls and other. Welcome to Taste Test.
Woohoo!
Cue the intro. Taste Test. Oh boy.
Yes.
We have got a show for you today.
Oh,
we have got a show. We have 2 albums that I would consider on a level. Not just any level, but just on a level. Not a specific one. But the album that Matheus Carneiro of Brazil gave to me today was Emotion. And I chose the deluxe edition because I'm a piss boy. I'm a fuck boy. Of Emotion by Carly Rae Jepsen. 2015 release. The girl that is responsible for probably the worst pop song of the 2010s came out with this absolute gem of an album. And what did I give to you, Matheus?
Well, you gave me, Chris, the 1972 hit album, which wasn't really a hit because the record company didn't actually sold enough because they were fucking chumps. You gave me number 1 record by Big Star.
Yes, fucking great record in my opinion.
Yes, when Chris says it's on a level, it's because they're basically almost the same thing, but like 40 years removed.
40 years removed. Let's start with Carly Rae Jepsen, shall we?
Sure.
I did have a notes, but like literally an hour or so before we recorded, my computer needed to restart and I forgot about the notes.
Shit.
And then I forgot to save, and now it's gone.
Fuck.
It's done. It's fucked. So, to offset this, I'm going to improvise, and if this only lasts for like 5 minutes, you will know exactly why. We're going to start with Run Away With Me. Run away with me!
Run away with me!
Beautiful song. It's probably my favourite.
Wow,
but just by a little bit.
Huh?
Like, I'm already going in saying it's my favourite because it is. It's like really cheery. I'm going to just say this right now. The first 6 songs, which are Run Away With Me, Emotion, I Really Like You, Gimme Love, All That, and Boy Problems, are perfect. They're all great. They're all really nice. I can sing them all. I can have a good jam listening to them all. And it's beautiful. It is peak Carly Rae Jepsen. It's 6 lovely, awesome, danceable pop songs with personality to boot. But when we get to track 7, Making the Most of the Night, it starts to falter a little bit.
Yeah, fair.
And you know what? You know what other album you gave me? I felt faltered after a little bit.
I believe it was Duran Duran.
Yes, it was Duran Duran, and it is getting the pop album syndrome that the first couple of songs are really good, and then after like a certain amount of tracks, they just give up. Yeah. Like I'd say the first half really good. I can't remember anything about Your Type. I think I said that was probably my least favorite. Let's Get Lost was the same. LA Hallucinations was. What the fuck was that? Warm Blood. I think I liked that one. When I Needed You, I thought that was shit as well. Black Heart, I think I was okay with that. But a track that I really, really liked was I Didn't Just Come Here to Dance. And that's on the deluxe edition, track 14 to be exact. And it's a fucking house tune. It's a fucking house tune with Carly Rae Jepsen on it. How could you not like that? It's beautiful. I was like bopping my head like an absolute bastard listening to it.
Oh, I was
like,
see that.
Yeah, this is great. I'm enjoying it. And then Favorite Color happened. And it was like, oh, okay. And it's like, Favorite Color was either Black Heart or Favorite Color that was just so samey and boring. It's like there was no like chorus to it. Well, there was, but like it was the same sort of like boom, 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 boom.
It was uninspired, you mean? Yeah?
Yeah, it was nothing.
Yeah.
I couldn't grasp any sort of critical thinking,
Yeah,
like any sort of
you didn't
positive
feel
critical.
anything.
No, it was such a downer. It was a Debbie Downer. overall, I would say, yeah, I pretty much enjoyed the album for the most of it. It's an album with personality. It's a great pop album, but I don't think in my opinion, it's anything close to a classic, as everyone deems it to be. It's, in my opinion, it's just another, not just another pop album, but not on the like pop greats.
Yeah, I would argue
sort of
that
like in a sort of weird in between.
I would argue that it's also not kind of too soon to call it a classic, because it came out just a year and a half ago, so it's really, I don't think it's long enough to make an impact yet.
Okay, I understand, but I don't think like OK Computer by Radiohead was considered a classic like the year it came out. So like I don't think there's anything that like would stop an album being a classic, despite how new it might be. Because like I would consider To Pimp a Butterfly to be a classic rap album, despite it coming out in the same year as this album.
Yeah.
I would say Moon-Shaped Pool and Black Star are classics. You might say Awaken My Love is a classic if you're using the sort of mindset that I'm using right now. And more recently, I would say Flying Microtonal Banana by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is also a classic in my eyes, because it has that sort of staying power that you just know it's gonna last. Like there are certain albums that like seem really cool at the start, but like after a while you listen to it and you think, yeah, this is aged poorly. But like with Flying Microtonal Banana, with Black Star, with Awaken My Love, with A Moon-Shaped Pool, there's nothing about it that just doesn't scream a certain year. You can listen to it 30 years down the road and still get as much enjoyment as if you'd listened to it in 2016 or 2017.
Yeah, it's timeless, it's evergreen.
Yeah, evergreen. Great.
I'm just gonna go a little sideways here. You say Flying Microtonal Banana. I still need to listen to that one, which I've had it on my list for a while. But just going back to Emotion again, one of the things that I really liked about that album was that at the time when I listened to it when it was just released. At the time I was still really into synthwave and all those 80s inspired tunes, like those heavy synths and like almost heavy metal in a sort of way, and I could feel a lot of 80s influence on this one, like very
that's definitely
very
very
reverby, very just I guess you could say the artificial sounds, but that they sound like a little more alive, you could say, more organic. It's kind of ironic to put that together, but that's how I feel.
It has its own like unique style that not many, it has a certain decade kind of style that's hard to replicate.
Yeah, it sets itself aside apart from all from the big bunch of mainstream pop albums that came out on the year.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. It's hard to describe what is like what exactly it is about like 80s music that makes it 80s music. It's probably the sort of artificial snare pops that like sound really fat and really in your face. It's probably the whole, it's like a lot of 80s music is kind of influenced kind of by like the mid 70s disco music or funk. It's sort of an addition, sort of like it's basic. I like to say it's like electronic funk or electronic, like a more electronic version of disco, probably. Sort of just like the level above that. And it's kind of cool now. It's kind of like trendy now to replicate that. Because you got like vaporwave and future funk.
We also got like Bruno Mars with 24 Karat Magic. It sounds like it's a tune. Yeah,
like I said, like some of the songs on here. I think it was Boy Problems that sounded exactly like a I think it was Treasure by Bruno Mars. It sounded very similar to that, and I was like, yeah, I fucking like that. It's not like not in the case of it's plagiarism or whatever, but like in the case that like you can put on for like any other fucking song and it would pretty much work. It's a great like spider's net, like a safe way to making a really good pop song.
But like I think if you group all the 80s albums together, like most of the 80s songs, and you try to look for something distinctive in their sound, I think you can find the reverby production, maybe the spacey sounds probably, and probably I'm trying to find something here that like maybe unifies everything, but it's I think you could call it like the new romantic sound, like we said on the Rand. So yeah, maybe the early 80s stuff all sounds very close to each other, but not that that's a bad thing, but it's very distinctive. It sets itself apart from any other eras.
Yeah, I agree. It's like it would be kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think 2010, like the whole 2010s thing is pretty much like living in the past.
Yeah.
I think that's like, it's kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. Because if you like the sounds of the 70s and the 80s, then you're not going to have any problems with it. But like, it always seems like it's trying to recycle itself, and it's not got its own distinctive sound.
Yeah, I saw somewhere once, I don't remember where now, that like for every decade there's this nostalgia thing for 2 decades prior. So example, if you were in the 90s, you would have nostalgia for the 70s, and in the 2000s you have nostalgia for the 1980s, and like right now in this decade we're nostalgic for the 1990s, which like it's kind of like it also kind of ties like into all the memes and stuff. Like in the last decade you'd see a bunch of you'd see a bunch of 80s kids memes, and now you see a bunch of 90s kids memes, and like you were starting to see 2000s kids memes now. And
that's really weird.
Considering we are them.
Like technically we are like 2000s kids, because I don't, despite both of us being born in the late 90s, I don't know anything. I don't remember anything about the 90s.
No,
and if I said to myself, "Oh, I'm a 90s kid. I love the 90s," I look like an idiot. I look like a prick.
No, that is a fair shot, because we were too young to enjoy anything on the flipping late 90s. Anyway, we really started like really growing up and seeing the world after the year 2000. Like after we turned 4, and then we saw we started growing up on the very technological age of the world. And also just tying this to the music theme, that you can also notice this on the music side, because like right now we're seeing more 80s influences on tunes, but like I think on some of the indie sides you start to see a lot more grunge influence, like bands like Nirvana and maybe Alice in Chains. Also you start to see a lot more on those guitar heavy songs.
Yeah, and with a lot of music videos, a lot of them put like a sort of VHS sort of filter on it, because that has its own aesthetic, that has its own like look to it, and depending on whether you do it well, it looks great, or it either looks really great or it looks cheap as fuck, and you'll be accused of just living in the past or trying to.
It's either gonna look like a good throwback or a direct ripoff.
Yeah. Like, for example, Danny Brown's music video for Ain't It Funny looks great. I love it. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's like it's peak 90s sitcom of like those like golden days, this perfect family, and like nobody noticing the problems that actually run real life.
Oh, Uncle Danny. Hey, Big Star, what do you think?
So yeah, Big Star. Hang on a second.
I got you.
Okay.
I can hear that. I'm gonna like amplify that so like it's really loud.
Yeah, just like blast people's ears with that.
I will.
Yeah, I apologize in Chris's behalf here.
Yes.
So yeah, I actually do have my notes here, so I'm gonna go a little bit longer.
Thank Father.
So yeah. My pre-listening thoughts were that I actually had no idea who Big Star were before you suggested this album. Like, I think I saw the #1 record cover a few times, but I mean, I had no idea where they came from and who they were. After doing some research on the band, it turns out that I actually know who Alex Chilton was. He sang the Box Tops' big hit of the '60s, "The Letter," which is a really cool song. I liked it quite a bit. And from the cover art, I expected this to be sort of like glam rock, something like close to the David Bowie side, like in '72, like he was in the Ziggy Stardust period. And also after reading some reviews for the album, they were very praising. They were like almost all very top notch. I think the lowest I found was a B plus, I think, by Robert Christgau. I'm not sure if I'm spelling the name right. Like he's a very like top dog critic of the rock world.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he hates King Crimson.
Oh, he doesn't know what he's missing.
Disagree. He says it's D minus.
D minus. Oh fuck.
In the Court of the Crimson King, he called it ersatz shit.
Ersatz shit my ass. Anyway,
exactly.
So reading those reviews, this is gonna sound a little bad, but don't take it hard. Like it kind of overhyped the album for me, so like I was expecting something very good. So so leading on to the actual songs, the first one is Feel. It's like it's basic rock. It's got a simple structure, just verse and chorus. It's actually verse, chorus, verse, chorus. So yeah, very very much a pop rock song of the '70s. Despite being basic, it's still I thought it was quite fun to listen to. Like the sax part with the solo in the middle. I think the bridge actually it goes a little crazy, and it's got a little cacophony, but not enough that it makes it bad. It's like it's still really fun to listen to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's about being, I guess, led on by a partner or a relationship that's hopeless. Also, something that I noticed while reading the lyrics to analyze the meaning here, I could notice right off the bat that these songs are going to actually be a lot easier to understand because they're really straightforward. They go straight to the point. And
it's very
considering
like,
Big Star is considering Big Star is a power pop band, which is the genre that Wikipedia lists at least, which I can kind of tell, like it's got that 60s pop feel, but like heavier on the heavier side. Yeah, it's to be expected. So
exactly.
Nice start with Feel. The next one is the Ballad of El Gudo. Not sure if El Gudo. So yeah, it seems to like act as a sequel to the previous song, like because it talks about going through hard times. There's a little bit of a religious influence with talking about God.
At my side is God. Yeah.
So musically, this is a little, what did I say? I said it sounds a little more epic because I think it's probably more complex in a few ways. It's more melodic. It's and it's still catchy. And the ease, the considering how easy it was to also tell what the song meant, it's one that proved my previous point about the songs being easy to decipher, which again not bad, but it's just something that kind of becomes blaring in a way. Yeah. So this one. And also, just as another preview, not preview, just saying here that these songs are actually kind of all short, and they're considered they're power pop. There's not a lot to talk about them, so this review is also going to turn out pretty short. It's probably going to go about only 15 minutes. But anyway, next one is In the Street. This is a pretty riff-heavy song. It's about creating teenage havoc and just loitering. It's pretty simple and pretty short, and I have it written here. If not for the lyrics, I'd call this super radio friendly because of how basic the song is, which is not a bad thing. But it's something that, again, I keep saying this over and over. It's very noticeable on all the songs because they weren't trying to go like epic, like they weren't trying to craft a masterpiece. They were just trying to make a really good album that people would enjoy. And I think really this is gonna spoil the rest of the album, which I think they actually did very well here. It's a good album to just enjoy, to just sit back and listen, or maybe to just dance around. Next one is 13. It's an acoustic song about taking someone out, I guess. I think. I really like the melody being played, like the instrumentation. Again, the instrumentation on these songs, they all shine a lot here. But
I think the instrumentation, is the strongest point of the entire album.
I agree very much. But I also have it here. The lyrics sound like something a 16-year-old would write for their high school sweetheart because they sound pretty corny.
They are.
Yeah.
It is pretty corny. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But I think that's where the charm is.
Yes, I guess you could say that. And I also have it here. I didn't like it very much, but on second thought, judging from the title being 13, it could be a song like reminiscing, like remembering the old days of high school, or being sung from a perspective of someone at high school. But in this case, in the case of reminiscing, I think it would have made more sense to sing it in the past tense, because if you sing it in the present, it's gonna sound maybe a little creepy to have a 20-year-old guy sing about being 13 in the present time, in the present tense.
Yeah, it has to, you have to listen to it like if you were reminiscing. Because if that was the first thing you popped up, it's like, what are you doing?
Yes, it's just.
That is pretty funny.
It's like you would look like a weirdo if you actually sung about that
I'm fairly sure I'm about 99.99999999999% sure they're reminiscing.
I also want to think that this is the case here, and I think considering Alex Chilton is a pretty cool guy, musically. I think that's what he meant here. Well, it says
he's a chill.
Yeah,
dude.
he's a pretty Chilton dude. So next one is "Don't Lie to Me." They really make sure you don't forget the title of this song. It was like, "Don't lie to me, don't lie to me." Don't lie to me. Yes,
I fucking love that.
I also love this. I think this is the best song of the album because it sounds really angry. It's really heavy, and I get it's just these punk overtones with this song. It's proto punk, like garage rock basically. Because it's very a simple heavy guitar riff just driving the song all along, and it really, I think, it really drives the mood, the mood that the song wants to convey very well, and it's got a few big booms and explosions in the solo. I'm just thinking, what the fuck is this? I'm just trying to actually understand what it was. But after stopping a little while and thinking on it, it's I still find it pretty good. It's a bit almost out of tone with some of the other songs because the others sound a little more poppy and or just a little more just a little softer, and this one sticks out a lot more from the intensity of the whole song. So it's crazy AF, but I still love it. I think this is the best song of the whole album.
It's great. It's great. It's a they're all great tracks.
They are, yeah.
Something about "Don't Lie to Me" that you could just pop on, and if we were on a long road trip and I popped that on, everyone would just
We're gonna headbang. We're gonna headbang the shit out of
it. Yeah, it would be great.
Yes,
it's a quick, easy, short, cheap Bohemian Rhapsody kind of song.
Yeah, it's like the proto Bohemian Rhapsody, but just the part that everybody remembers.
Yeah, the drop, the do-do.
Yeah, so again, continuing on, the next song is the India song. It's a song about running away to India and to live in solitude with a girl, which is very obvious because you read the lyrics, they actually say, it pretty much says that line by line, verse by verse, it's just that. Yeah, pretty much.
Live in a big white house. Something it just goes on.
Drinking gin and tonic on the grand piano. And
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So another short and simple acoustic song. Again, the lyrics are straightforward and descriptive, which this is a little of a downside. It's I said it's a little disappointing because it leaves nothing up to interpretation. So really, it just tells a straightforward story. It's like this is I would say it's a far-fetched comparison, but it's like a kid's book in the way that it just tells a story, that it just paints a picture in your mind, and that's it. There's nothing more to it.
I guess that's a good comparison, actually. A lot, I like to visualize, if I like a song enough, or I'm listening to a long prog rock song, I like to visualize it in my head in order to enjoy the song better, or give myself time to maybe guess what the meaning of the song is. But it does that for you basically. It tells you exactly what's on the tin, But you still get like you still visualize in your head what it would look like: a huge white house, playing a grand piano, like read a few books, and like really basic stuff. Like Bagpuss will show up at one point and be like, That's my impression of Bagpuss.
But yeah, I totally feel you on the prog rock side, because I do the same thing. The way that when I listen to the songs, I try to also try to visualize everything, just to stimulate more of the senses and try to enjoy the song more. But on this case, it just stimulates your senses for you, so you basically don't have to make any effort to listen to it, which is I guess the point of all pop songs, just to be listened to, but not like really get you worked up. It's just a chill song that you sit back and relax, and enjoy, or just dance around to it.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
So next one is When My Baby's Beside Me. It's another classic 70s rocking song, got some catchy riffs, another one with a simple structure, but it has a really cool guitar solo, which is I think it's probably the highlight of the song, because again, it's very simple and short, but it's a song, I guess, about only needing your own partner in your life. Like, no, I don't need all this medical help. I don't need all these vices. I don't need anything else. I just need this person in my life. It's nothing much to say about it, but still think it's pretty nice. Yeah, so
I would say it's probably my favorite song on the album, because like I could just like once that comes on, I have a huge fucking grin on my face. Like, I already have a grin on my face listening to the album anyway, but when My Baby's Beside Me comes on, I'm just like, when my baby's beside me, I don't worry. It's like that. I just that is my jam. That's like yes.
I totally get that.
Yes, Queen.
So. Yes. Again, the next one is My Life Is Right. It's apparently about love has given meaning to the singer's life here. So it's a song that shifts it shifts between ballad and like the straight rock and verses and chorus. Like the verses are soft and slow and like melodic, and then the chorus comes in and they go all out again. They start playing hard and just very like more memorable, you could say. It's very simple, although the lyrics are a bit repetitive. They don't diverge much. They don't go very far with them. It's a short song with no solo, because at least I couldn't hear one there, or maybe not even a bridge really, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention enough. I have to hear that. It left me a little bit disappointed, unfortunately, but I mean, it doesn't affect the album overall. I still liked it a lot, but this one in particular just wasn't all that great for me. So next one is Give Me Another Chance. It's a song about making up with someone you left behind, I guess. It's another acoustic ballad where the instrumentation shines again. Although the lyrics aren't actually too bad on this one. I thought lyrically this one was probably one of the highlights. And one thing that I liked about this one is that it doesn't repeat itself much in terms of being an acoustic ballad. It has a little choral, and I think that's a mellotron playing in the background also.
Yeah, it might be a mellotron. Actually. Yeah, I'll have to listen. to it.
I'm not very into synthesizers, but so like I'm guessing that's a mellotron, because from what I can hear, it's the sound that I recognize. But anyway,
you'll be happy to know mellotron isn't a synthesizer.
No, it's not. Fuck me then. Well, fuck me.
It's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good.
You can tell I'm not a musician here. So
it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. I knew what you meant.
Chris can educate me more. Chris can educate you guys more than I can.
I'll try to.
So so the choral and quote unquote mellotron solo pump in a little bit more energy in the bridge. The song is pretty fine overall. It's not repetitive. It doesn't repeat itself like the other acoustic ballads. So the next one is Try Again, which is another acoustic ballad, but it has some like a few guitar, like I would say, not sure what I could call this. Maybe I'm gonna say stabs, because I have no other word to describe it. Like it's got a little bluesy side, like Yeah, some soft melodic side there. Which,
slide guitar.
Yeah, slide guitar. That's what it's called. Yeah, thank you again. Which is a refreshing and cool twist on the acoustic side because, again, it doesn't repeat itself, and still keeps it all cool and fresh, like I just said. So yeah, the instruments shine once again because the lyrics don't say much. It's basically another song about going through hard times with God. So it's basically a heavier rock version of the Ballad of El Goodo.
Yeah.
So it in that sense it repeats, but like again the slide guitar it adds a little more flair to it, a little more flavor. And one thing that I have here is that the chord progression is pretty fine as well. Like it's not simple, but at the same time it's not overly complicated. It doesn't sound like something out of prog rock. Like you can still enjoy it without making too much effort.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think the next one, Watch the Sunrise, I think this might be my second favorite of the album because it starts with this.
Yeah, I love Watch the Sunrise.
Okay, sorry.
Did you cough there?
It has this C kind of thing, like because as soon as Try Again ends, Watch the Sunrise starts almost immediately, so it sounds like they seek into each other. And also thematically, it feels like a sequel song to the previous one because it's like another acoustic song, but they play it faster, and it's kind of talking about the lyrics talk about being hopeful. It's like someone else talking to the person that was singing Try Again to like lift them up and cheer them up maybe. The instrumentation, I think, again, it shines a lot more here because I like the way this song sounds a lot. I have it here also written. The instrumental bridge is sweet, but not in the sweet, cute kind of way, but like as in I really, really liked it.
Satisfying.
Yeah, very satisfying. That's a good word also. And I have it written here that it will be a very nice, cheery song to end the album, if not for the actual last one, which is ST100 by 6, which is a little short harmonic acoustic ballad about apparently wanting someone back, which it kind of throws the previous song kind of out of it throws the meaning of the previous song away because like it's like someone is if you think of this as a 3-part thing, you could say that someone is down, then someone comes to cheer them up, but then the person that just goes back to feeling down again. Like Watch the Sunrise just basically loses meaning in this sort of way. But
I get what you mean. I disagree, but like I get what you mean.
Yeah, but I have it here. It kind of throws the cheeriness of the previous song off. It's kind of a bit of a mood whiplash because like it was a happy song, but then it switches to this, sort of, sad or brooding thing. Not like it's actually brooding. I'm exaggerating a little bit here, but it's like I can't really find other words to say it here. But yeah, this wasn't exactly the best ending for the album in my opinion. But I mean, I wouldn't say it adds too much or it takes away too much from the album because it's only 57 seconds. It's really short, so it's just there, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of like how in Mac DeMarco albums, the last thing he does, he just has like a little thing where he's like, "Hi guys, this is Mac. Thank you for joining me. See you again soon. Bye bye." And then he just, that's kind of what it is. It's just like, "Hey, we'll see you again someday. Keep a lookout for us. Bye," sort of thing.
Yeah, like the album's over. Thank you for listening. Listen to the next one. Bye bye. Yeah, kind of like that. So yeah, the album here is done now. So my overall thoughts are, like I said previously during the middle of the review, is the harmonies and the instrumentation are the strongest part of the whole album. The riffs are catchy and cool. The production has this whole very 70s sound to it, which is really nice. Like it really feels very much like a rock song from the 70s, Like I also have it here. It feels very much like an early 70s easy. I say easy rock band, but I think it might be a little discredited them a little bit too much. But I have they do earn a lot. They do very much earn the power pop branding because again, it feels very much like pop. Like it's like an extension of the 60s pop, like maybe on the British Invasion sort of way. You take a maybe a Beatles song from the mid 60s, but you play it heavier, and you add more stuff into it.
People have compared it to sounding like early Beatles songs, like mid like sort of 65, 66 era, like Help, Rubber Soul, Revolver era Beatles.
Yeah.
Just slightly more poppy and slightly more harder to sort of complement it.
Yeah,
I can see what you
they're
mean.
basically working on that sound more. They're being more elaborate about it. It's really cool. I like it a lot. I have it on another one here. The lyrics take some of the songs down a notch, but like I said, the part where it really shines is the instrumentation. The lyrics, they're there basically because they have to be there to maybe be considered a pop song, so you know that people have something to sing along to. This might be discrediting them a little bit too much, but I just feel that the lyrics are not as good as they could have been, really. But otherwise, it's a very fine album. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think this is gonna break your heart a little bit. But however, of the ones you gave me, it's the one I like the least so far.
Ooh. You know what? I'm not mad about that because there are other albums that I actually feel more deeper for, like Carrie and Lowell and To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah, so
and,
far, if I were to make
Drake.
like a little top 4 of the albums you gave me, I would say they would be Carrie and Lowell, then Pink Moon, then To Pimp a Butterfly, then number 1 record.
I don't know what I'd put. I can make one up right now. I'd say Trust the Exhibition first.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Meteora second.
Yeah.
Emotion third, and Duran Duran fourth.
Yeah, makes sense. We basically just gave each other our albums on the same same level. So I gave you the pop album and you have it last on your record on your list. You gave me a pop album and I have it last on my list also. So we're basically on the same level here.
Yeah, my list is subject to change at any point.
Mine too.
Yeah, no, we'll have to see. We'll have to see by episode 10. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, we'll see what the future holds for us.
Yeah, exactly. That's about it for us. Thank fuck, because if I talk about Bottas anymore, we're gonna have a huge argument.
Oh yeah, we don't want that anymore.
Who's better, Bottas, Massa, or God forbid, Castro Neves? But here we go. That's it. Thank you very much for listening. Subscribe to Matt on YouTube at Mystery Science Theatre F1. Subscribe to me on YouTube at Cook Productions 1. That's the channel you're watching right now. Click subscribe. I fucking dare you right now. Right now.
Do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Do it.
And yeah, that's about it. Listen to our older podcasts. It's all in a playlist. Follow all the people we mentioned in the Q&A on Twitter, especially Elizabeth Worth. She's really nice.
Please do.
And that's about it. Goodbye from me and goodbye from Matt.
Goodbye. See you later.
Bottas is amazing.
Castro Neves is too.
Shut up.
Fuck you.
You're wrong.
You're wrong too.